Sexism is a very prevalent topic in modern day world. It has a history in oppressing women in the workplace and stopping women from progressing onto better or higher careers with better compensation and benefits and pay. This is only due to their sex and not because women lack education and or experience. Here I give the dictionary definition of sexism. Sexism to me is the oppression of women and the inability of women to move past the glass ceiling, and they are oppressed due to only their sex and not because they lack education or experience within the field. The promotion of jobs and compensation benefits and higher salaries usually go to men in the same field. Here, Cudd and Jones discuss what sexism means to them and states that it happens institutionally and in daily interactions with people. I agree wholeheartedly, as men sometimes say things to women that they think would be something that is joking, but what actually happens is women take it offensively because it turns out to be an offensive statement. And men don't realize this, but this is sexism in the workplace. Here are the gender and median earnings by industry in 2009 from Albany, Schenectady, and Troy, New York. We can see in this graph that the earnings between the male and female are completely different within all industries. For example, in manufacturing, the female makes a median of $38,815, while the male makes about $20,000 more at $54,666. In management and companies and enterprises, the female makes $41,250, while the male makes $30,000 more at $69,170. This graph from 2009 is supposed to represent the amount of difference in money, in salary, that men make from women. Here is a quote from a Huffington Post article on maternity leave. It says here, in 2012, only 35% of U.S. employees had access to paid family leave. I find this quote important because I think it represents the amount of sexism in the workplace. People expect women to take care of babies and have double shifts, which means they work during the day and then they go home to take care of the household and the children. But they don't want to give women the amount of time necessary to care for children. I think it is important that women get paid maternity leave in the U.S. like all other countries. U.S. is only one of 4 countries out of the entire world who do not pay for maternity leave. I think we need to change this aspect of the U.S. because it is simply sexist. You can't expect women to do both jobs but not support them in a way that will help them do both jobs. In California, they created the Paid Family Leave Program. This program allowed both men and women to take paid paternity and maternity leave, and the program was able to double the length of maternity and paternity leave. This increased the number of fathers who were able to take advantage and help give home care, while also helping mothers to make ends meet if they're single parents and contribute to the family as a whole if they are co-parenting, especially if they've just had a child and wish to stay at home and take care of the child. I think this program should be implemented throughout the entire United States, because if we implement a program like this, so many women can take care of their families, not have to pay for child care, which would not break the economy, and it would actually help the economy because People no longer depend on public assistance to help care for the children. That is, less money coming out of taxpayers' pockets, or rather, less of a budget going towards public assistance, and more maybe of a budget going towards education, which would actually help people and help Americans learn more, get educated more, and create more jobs and opportunities. Here is just the graph of the highest rates for women employment and earning. The highest rates happen to be in Washington D.C., where a lot of politicians are, and the lowest rates are in West Virginia. Here is a chart comparing median annual earnings and gender earnings between 2012 and 2013 for year-round workers aged 15 and older. As you can see in this chart, Asian Americans, both men and women, make the most amount of money in both 2013 and 2012, while Hispanic, Latino men and women lag behind at making the least amount of money between white, Asian Americans, blacks, and Hispanic and Latinas. This chart shows that there is an unequal distribution between races and also between genders within those races that needs to be fixed so that people, especially women, can make the same amount of can make the same amount of wages for a job that someone of a different race is doing for the same job. Here is just a chart of the gender earnings between men and women from 1955 to 2012. As we can see, women's earnings amount less than men's earnings. This is just the chart of paid parental leave between the US and the rest of the world. As we can see, the UK leads with paid paternity and maternity leave at 280 days with 90% pay. We can see that the US has 0 days of paid paternity or maternity leave, while the rest of the developed nations in the world, and even still some developing nations, have at least paid maternity leave for some amount of days and a percent of their salary. This is a graph from the U.S. Census Bureau in 2011 of the STEM occupations. So that means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We can see here that men occupy double the amount of STEM jobs compared to women. We can also see that Asians occupy double the amount of STEM jobs compared to white people. This clearly needs to be fixed, and it's clearly sexism because STEM jobs pay the most jobs throughout the world. So if you have men occupying STEM jobs, they are clearly making a lot more money than women. And this is not just because women are incapable of being in STEM jobs, because clearly this graph shows that we are not. But rather, there's a systematic oppression starting with when women are born, through the leaky pipeline of women just falling out, either through disencouragement or not feeling that they are in the proper place, as to why there is a lack of women in the STEM occupations. Many of these graphs are used to show that sexism in the workplace does exist, whether it be women who are not able to obtain STEM jobs or women who just lack jobs in general, from women who lack pay in the same jobs as men do, from women who lack maternity leave, and even men who lack maternity leave in the US compared to other nations. I think sexism needs to be changed, and with a change in sexism could benefits to the U.S. economy come, such as a budget cuts and the need for public assistance from women who have to care for children. And then that tax money can be used for other things, even if the government wants to spend it on the military budget. I think sexism needs to be ended, and people need to actively fight for the equality of men and women in the workplace.